So, quick tour of Tigger Island. We're in flood right now, so water's up by the hot tub platform. Normally it's about 3 meters lower and there's steps down to the river. Here's a camping area. But what I wanted to show you was my little shed. So, this is pretty crude, but the basic idea is there. I've done a scaffold pole going straight through the coupler, a pole that way. So it's very easy for me to spin that pole around to get the angle like that. And then I can turf that if I need to, just by loosening off the coupler and bending it a bit. But you could easily make that a hinge joint, either by leaving a scaffold coupler loose or using a thing called a key clamp. And then we could trim it off with a rope that goes down to a cleat that we tie off to. So we could spin it that way and that way quite easily. This is all very like prototypey stuff here. This is Solar Cell version 3, the small version. So the system's got a valve lead acid underneath. This is a sine wave inverter that does 500 watts nominal, 1000 watt. Sine wave means it can run motors. If they're square wave, like the cheap ones, it can't run motors. So their motor will just go, and it just won't work. That's an MPPT charge controller. So the solar panel goes into that, and that varies its impedance or resistance on the input, which means it gets the maximum power from the solar panels. They're wired in parallel, 12 volt, to the batteries. So here's a battery array. Again, this is just very much experimental. And when I do these things, I deliberately do them in a way that's going to teach me what's going to work. So speak to any battery engineer, I'll tell you these wires are too thin. My logic is I've got a massive battery array here for only a 500 watt inverter system, and they're all running into parallel to these and then running back into there. So I've got, what are these there? 65 amp hour, and I'm running actually 9 of them right now. I've got a couple more here, but they're not wired up. So I've got like whatever, 800 amp hour. So about, was that 10 kilowatt hours-ish of storage? It's a lot of power. So when I log on with my Bluetooth app, I can see the state of charge, which it'll know that because of the voltage. So if we're sitting at like 13.4 volts, and if we're taking some current down, it's not dropping, we're at like, full state of charge. If we're below 12 volts, well, if that happened today, I'd probably have a, serious problem with the battery array. So that's the system. For the project we're talking about, I'd say very similar actually, a lot neater. Wouldn't be setting this up at midnight with a head torch like I did. And yeah, make it really visible. So you've got all the components, you can see it, so it's great. Yeah, that might look bad, but it's only 12 volts there. If I shorted them out, I'd get a face full of sparks and it could vaporize the wire pretty quick, because that could deliver like thousands of amps down a tiny wire. It would just blow it like a piece of fuse wire. But yeah, that's the system. And here's my shed, which I'm pretty proud of, just a bit of scaffold. I did it like this because then I can deconstruct it really easily and take the screws out and yeah, do that.